This is part 3 of a 6-part parenting series. In this video, I will be addressing the permissive parent. Before we start, I would like for all viewers watching this series to be informed moving forward that even though we have been touching base on the more toxic and negative parenting styles, it will get better when we will also cover the empowering caregiver styles and tips that will brighten us by showing how great of a provider we as parents can be for our kids and their environment. So don't be discouraged, but just know that my purpose for creating this series is to raise awareness so that our families can see the impact of these parenting styles on our youth and to show what can be done to better the lives of all. With that disclaimer made known, let's be educated. According to a very well-mined article, it gives us some key information into the permissive parenting style. Permissive parenting is a type of parenting style characterized by low demands with high responsiveness. Permissive parents tend to be very loving, yet provide few guidelines and rules. These parents do not expect mature behavior from their children and often seem more like a friend than a parental figure. A Michigan State University article also provides us with a better understanding into the main features and traits of this style. When a parent is permissive, they look at their child as an equal rather than children of a parent. Gift giving and bribery are their primary parenting tools versus boundaries and expectations. There are very few demands of a child in this situation, and parents have a difficult time saying no, as they avoid asserting authority and confrontation. As you can see from the lack of authoritative discipline that these parents rarely enforce on their children, that it can have unintended consequences for them and others impacted. But why do these caregivers choose this child-centered approach? According to a Parenting for Brain article, it gives us some perspective reasons as to why parents may lean into this parenting style. Some parents choose permissive parenting because these parents were raised by strict parents and do not wish to impose the same rules upon their children. Other parents choose permissive parenting to compensate their children for facing divorce or for the lack of time spent with them. Not to drag on the point, but I also believe that parental burnout can also be a key factor at play here. These parents sometimes get tired of having to constantly persevere and to continuously endure the challenges that come with parenting. This, and in addition to the fact that they always have to maintain the household, can make these parents give up on their children, and understandably so. They get stressed the heck out with parental responsibilities that they allow their kids to govern themselves as a way to release the immense pressure of being caregivers. It has also been proven in studies that countries that tend to have stronger economic safety nets usually reduce the stakes in parenting and make permissive parenting more attractive to parents who value autonomy and self-independence. Still, whether or not the situation lies on these factors, if it's because of inner exhaustion, personal choice, or just simply being unaware, the pros and cons of this parenting style can still greatly impact our youth. Let's cover the cons first. One major con of permissive parenting is that these children are unable to manage their time and make thoughtful decisions. Because of the lack of structure and rules placed in the home, these children never learn their limits. This can lead to them being endlessly sucked up in the TV screen, having a video game or social media addiction, taking improper bedtimes, or eating excessively, all of which can lead to low achievement in many areas, and excessive eating in particular to obesity. Our next con is that these children tend to show more rebellious aggression towards others outside the home. With this drawback, children who are permitted to rule themselves believe that they can apply this type of dangerous behavior in the real world. Because they do not learn to deal with their emotions effectively, particularly in situations where they don't get what they want, children with permissive parents may have low self-control and self-regulation. They also may struggle when faced with stressful or emotionally taxing situations. This links up to our next con, in which these children are more likely to develop entitlement, as they are not required to show respect or to be responsible for their actions. Because they learn that they will be praised regardless of their good or bad behavior, this can contribute to narcissistic and self-centered tendencies in which these traits can carry into that child's adulthood if not prevented. Likewise, children under a permissive parenting style can also be prone to developing anxiety, feelings of low self-esteem, worse social skills, and depression. It is unbelievable to imagine that such an innocently loving and highly responsive approach to parenting can have such devastating effects. Some articles argue that because of the lack of high standards expected from permissive caregivers to their children, that this can negatively affect their self-shaping process and emotional development. The final con of permissive parenting that I would like to briefly touch on is that these children are more likely to engage in risky behaviors such as delinquency and substance abuse. Boundaries and guidelines are the protective factors that keep our children safe from harm and danger. Therefore, with permissive or carefree parenting, children can easily fall in bad company and encounter certain situations without the authoritative input of their caregivers. Children who find themselves in these predicaments often have no fear or acknowledgement of these dangers, and caregivers might be unaware or are just starting to realize that they're leading their kids this way. However, I want you to know that situations like these can differ depending on the type of child and environment. There are pros to permissive parenting, just like any other parenting style, that show that it's not all bad and that there is hope for these children to be corrected and led on the right path. Follow us as we cover some of the pros of this approach and see what it is we can learn that can help us be the best caregivers we need for our kids. Our first pro of this style is that we know that these children are being raised in a lovingly attentive home. Also, remember how we said that low self-esteem can be a negative factor of this parenting style? Well, surprisingly enough, other studies have shown in contradiction that high self-esteem can also result in other kids. Because children of this parenting style get showered with a ton of love and responsive attention from their caregivers, it can bring them a greater sense of their assured confidence and self-worth. Even though these kids may still have some narcissistic traits, this can be healthy, filled with healthy ambitions, energy, and creativity in a way that doesn't put others down. Finally, our last pro of this parenting style is that it has been shown to produce some good results in better impulse control. To this end, some researchers argue that children can have better social skills when this style is used thoughtfully, and that it can also have the same protective effects against substance abuse and delinquent behavior. So, with these pros and cons in mind, how can we lead as more permissive-free role models in our children's lives? We know that it's unneeded for a complete change in this parenting approach, as now we know about the potential benefits it can bring for our youth. Therefore, let's offer the powerful parenting awareness solutions that can help us establish the healthy boundaries for our kids while still showing them the responsive love and care they need. The first solution to enrichment is that it's important for all parents to be conscious of the attitudes and habits that they're teaching their children through permissive parenting. It is up to the caregivers and guardians to make sure that their children are functional members of society. Therefore, kids need to be taught their respectable boundaries in order to keep them and others safe. Jeff Nalen, a licensed clinical psychologist and founder of Paradigm Treatment Centers, shows that I'm not making this stuff up. He states in a parent's article, rules and respect are intimately connected. One cannot exist without the other. He also goes on to add, regarding the family home, that without a set of precise boundaries, children have no real sense of what is right or wrong. As a result, they will often test the waters to gauge how their parents will react, and sometimes will be even seeking attention from them. Even though Nalen states this, it can be reasonable for some parents to still promote their kids' attention-seeking misbehavior. Parents may let children get away with their continual bad conduct because they may fear them for facing previous aggression or are just simply too tired to enforce rules. Even though therapy and counseling are the best options to getting the professional help our caregivers need, not to say that there are other actions we can take. This leads to our final solution, in which small changes can be made to slowly but surely heal our children from the challenges and patterns of their youth. Even though I say this, it can be a test of patience though, to break out of permissive parenting and to start raising your children with clear expectations and rules. These rules can be in the form of basic household requirements, effective disciplinary communication, and family guidelines. But to integrate these and them consistently will surely pay off in the end when you are able to rejoice in a happy and desired child. Research also shows that having at least one authoritative caregiver can make a major impact on a kid's well-being and growth. So why not make a difference now? Even if we will still be permissive parents, it's refreshing to know that those life-changing options are there and that we can have the support we need. This ends part 3. In the next video, we will talk about the authoritarian parent. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and click the notification bell so that you can know when this video will be made available. Thank you for viewing. See you in the next video.